Alrighty, I want to show you what is the prosecution of the U.S. government that is indeed stalking American citizens. This is the third party engaging what is serial stalking associated with the facilitating venue of what is downtown Ontario luxury apartments, lying in wait to engage in what is sexual assault and battery at nightfall. That's what I documented, and this is sexual assault and battery during the day. That's the purpose of lying in wait, waiting to engage in what is touching with light, which is what all of the demons are doing. This is a massive orgy that the demon possessed, the perverts who are engaged in also vagina monitoring, who are committing group sex violence of sexual assault and battery, while you're being touched with that which isn't even sunlight, and that's not even the sun. I'm going to watch, I want you to watch and show you the entity that is stalking. 8XDC637, and you see the sun over the venue, but it's already here when I arrived yesterday. That's what I'm documenting, the significance of highway, Myers and Sons Highway, that's engaging in what is gang stalking, stalking with light, like the municipality is doing with regard to the abuse, the malicious engagement, and criminal monitoring via a municipality which is funded and facilitated, enabled, and shared by the official, which is gang stalking mayor. That's a domestic enemy, that's a terrorist leader, and he's going to be federally prosecuted for it. And there is no sun, this sense of stalking, including by the mayor. There's no sun, but my evidence is showing at 7, at 9, what is Kelly Blacken walking under? What is the entity doing while I am at this venue before 10 o'clock and everybody standing under that entrance is there while that fake sun is there? This is the entity that is indeed stalking, and stalking, gang stalking is not based on chronology. It's based on the maintenance of an environment where nobody's looking up in the sky, nobody's addressing you, and you're supposed to be, in the absence of knowledge, hallucinating and making up. That's the entity that is defaming you. Gang stalking you with the developmentally challenged. Those are the psychopaths that are equally special needs. 9VUB077. While the fake sun remains over me, and it is currently 10:35 a.m., the entity's been maintaining the pattern of conduct, and the fake sun is still over me while Amazon Prime is making a delivery at this venue, and the fake sun that you see above the building is reflecting off of the window on the same building, which is the same impossibility. This is the entity that's engaging in gang stalking, and there's no sun over the venue, and the entity is stalking while that environment is following you. And that's where you see the demon possessed engaging in gang stalking, and that's because they know that they're defeated. That's the Nephilim. All right, the entity, and that is also the Nephilim SECURITAS. Nephilim, stalking with light, engaging in sexual assault and battery. Nephilim, 9PEF293. This is the terrorism that they engage in, this chaotic environment. You're talking about there are not damages that exist yet regarding what has never been contemplated under federal law, stalking you with helicopters, stalking you with planes, stalking you with light, doing so while you're under the guise of engaging in something else. This is psychologically harmful to the ordinary target individual. You're looking at the fake sun. Help. Don't be distracted by those demons that are going to prison. And I want to be clear, so are the employees of the City of Ontario. City of Ontario, stalking with light. You know what's going on the inside of the building, and everybody in there is monitoring. And when the demon possessed, that is Satan, that is inferior, is caught, they merely engage in more and more and more of it. That's psychopathic. That's relevant to body counts. They'll murder more and more and more people. They'll engage in sexually violating more and more and more people. But what you're looking at is this fake sun that's moving as I move. It's not already here, because I'm already here at 10 o'clock on the record. So what is it that's over me? Because that's not the case today when I'm coming from another venue showing you what is Myers and Sons Highway gang stalking, Spectrum is gang stalking, Brightview is gang stalking, and every other company that I'm documenting engaging in that P.O.C, such as Convergent, okay? And this is relevant to light activity, while literally the government gives evidence for me to prosecute them. They're idiots, they're fools. This is the entity that's engaged in this conduct, and I want you to see this is where the fake sun is moving as I move, and that's not the natural environment. This is the same position that it's in after 2 o'clock in the afternoon, when I'm showing you the fake sun through the windows on the inside of the library. This is the hallway, and that's where the entity is engaged in that pattern of conduct. And that's where you see the entity admitting to engaging in terrorizing and stalking, defaming, lying about my being dead, lying about having a death certificate while they are gang stalking. That's the same agency, and they are going to federal prison. They also committed kidnapping with this venue that is stalking. This is the prosecution of facilitating venues as stalkers, terrorists. This is the documentation regarding prosecution of stalkers as terrorists. The impossible, okay? This is the entity that has the fake sun, and where is it hours from now? When West Coast University is inside gang stalking just like this demon, all they do is Satan puts on scrubs and is gang stalking in the same manner. It doesn't matter how old Satan is. They're all vagina monitors. Sunlight is not going to crawl into the depths back there, and then the sun is down here shining on my face on the inside. This is the entity that is stalking, and that's how stalking is recognized and prosecuted and identified. And this is a hostile one who was threatening my life. Convergent is threatening, and so is the third party operating the vehicle, and they're vagina monitors. I'm going to prosecute the company as a sex offender, as a terrorist, and they're engaging what is with the government, and they know it. That's why the helicopter. This is a slam dunk case right here. This is the pattern of conduct. This is the entity. I want you to see the fake sun is moving, remaining over me, and that's how you know that they're stalking. Okay, it's not based on chronology, which is what the demon-possessed entity wants you to focus on. Okay, it's not based on some sort of place. Nobody belongs in the facilitating environment. There's no warrant, no probable cause. Okay, and the vagina monitors are those that are under the age of majority. That's what I want you to see. They're presenting it to you. This is what the terrorists you need to know, because they're engaged in that. They're giving you this on purpose. They're monitoring the evidence, and they want you to see the demon-possessed the demon-possessed children that are gang stalking with the people of the state, with the government. This is why Mike Lorenz is being removed from office. Okay, he is a threat to the public, engaging in what is terror, and this is not different from what's going on in other third world countries. Not different at all. This is the pattern of conduct. This is psychopathic pacing. This is also sexual violence, and it's also mental illness that's unchecked. All right, that's the P.O.C. companies sharing in that. All right, the public, this is public corruption, and they're all under the fake sun well after what is the Ontario Police Department is gang stalking. Fake sun is in the same position at 6 p.m. where Convergent is here, and I'm on the side. That's relevant during daylight savings time. That's the pattern of conduct. They're injecting minor children. They want you to see what they do with minor children, and that's what you need to see. This is the entity that's engaging in what is kidnapping, because I've been exposing and I'm going to continue to expose. This is the John Stewart property management company. I'm going to prosecute them. They're sharing in the pattern of light activity facilitation while the government is stalking by helicopter. All right, that's the entity that's engaged in that public corruption. Okay, fake sun remaining over this venue until I leave. Fake sun not remaining but occurring over me. I did the same thing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where the gang members of the Ontario Police are standing in a group just like Convergent is, stalking me, and the fake sun arrives with me to be here, not here in a natural environment already, because the sun is not idiosyncratic with regard to remaining over all of us everywhere, no matter how long you're there, no matter which direction you're traveling, as though the sun is also rising and setting over one building. No, that's the specific environment. That's where gang stalking is underway. Engineer light across the curb, that's a demon. Engage in criminal activity with children. License plate 9RNE122. And they engage in vagina monitoring with children. And those that share in sexual violence with children are also engaging in sexual activity with children. All right, this is the entity that's engaging in that egregious, despicable, unspeakable conduct, and they do it with a straight face. They're in the engineer light. It doesn't change whether you have scrubs on. It doesn't change when you're under the age of majority. It doesn't change when you have a school district on the side of that vehicle, the logo. That's the pattern of conduct. That's the P.O.C. And this is the sex offenders of the OVITT Family Community Library maintaining surveillance outside and inside of the bathrooms. No surprise that they're gang stalking with those under the age of majority. And this is the handiwork of Paul Leon. Okay, 7FCZ688. The Ontario Police following me, flying over me at that intersection because they're triggered. Being triggered with regard to it's okay because it's triggering what is federal prison. So you're triggering, you're going to prison. Period. You're talking about the gang stalking mayor, prison. He's sitting up, they're monitoring my evidence. You're going to federal prison, sir. That's what's happening. The entities engaged in this public impunity while a government is threatening your life. This is serving for murder. They're not just doing this for fun. The entity conspired my murder, lied about me being dead already, and you're gang stalking in front of the world. This is going right on the internet. That's the entity that's stalking with light activity. That's the John Stewart. I'm going to prosecute them. There is no third party that's fleeing. I'm going to prosecute the property. I'm going to prosecute the residents. You're not receiving any government assistance. You're not getting any government aid to pay your rent. You're not getting any of that. The entire property building. That's the entity that's engaged in that pattern of conduct. These are demons. Okay, Satan that is using these people don't care about where they're going to live. And they're not thinking about that now because they are actually mentally ill. They're psychopathic. And that's relevant to what is martial law. So you are separating the pattern of conduct, the behavioral conduct, because they're demon possessed. That's not a defense because they know exactly what they're doing. But this is how you have that irrational conduct, that self-destructive, that detrimental conduct that they engage in with regard to what is not helpful for what they are going to face. And that's with homelessness, that's loss of position, that's loss of your career. You're being removed from position, you're being deported out of this country, you're losing custody of your children, you're not getting any government benefits, you're not getting past the background check. You're not going to be able to get a job, in other words, you're not going to be able to afford to pay rent, and the government will not support any terrorists. It's going on your criminal record. That will not be expunged. And so on and so forth. This is the entity that's engaging in that, and they're doing so at what is 10:42 a.m., and it is underscored by the stalking by the Ontario Police, who are gang stalking through all of the people of the state, including third-party companies like Convergent, including the state actors, the people of the state on the roads and the highways, while the entity is engaged in what is monitoring everything that I'm doing on my device, monitoring my vagina in restrooms, where they're pacing all around on the inside and out. And when I document that, what does the entity do? Stalking by helicopter. That African-American male that was engaged in, so he's going to prison. Okay, this is P.O.C. license 55963D4. These are demons of the city of Ontario. going to engage in. There is no sense of normalcy. They're not ignoring. These are the demon possessed that think if we walk by calmly and don't address, then it's not happening. They're going to be diagnosed with that same conduct. You didn't forget the helicopter activity. You're not forgetting the fact that the fake sun is still here after 6 p.m. You're not forgetting the entity that's engaging what is waging malicious assertions. It's not helping Polly-On. It's not helping the impossible light that's inside of that building. You haven't forgotten any of that. But that's what they engage in. They're delusional, and they're going to federal prison. They're going to mental asylums. They're going to be committed. This is P.O.C. This is impunity by a company and impunity by the third party. They are gangstar as one. The fake sun is remaining here, and they're sharing in what is comprehensive surveillance inside and outside of the building, and that is shown through what is the engineer light. That's P.O.C. It is currently 10:43 a.m., okay? That's the so-called magic trick, all right? I don't believe in that's wicked, but I just want to show you this is their witchcraft, though. But it's no witchcraft. It's not potent. It's not strong at all. I'm showing you how you're going to prosecute based on that malice. The fake sun is following me. I am the target. And guess what? That's triggering a federal prosecution. That's a demon that's engaging in pacing with audible activity. He's mentally ill. That's actually what you're looking at right here. And there's nothing magical about that. He's a sex offender, and he engages in more and more pacing when I'm nude. The demon possessor are obsessed with my vagina. They're sex offenders. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:44 a.m. P.O.C.